Hey, hey, hey! Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Gear to Die For. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Northface Recycled Etip Glove. Stay tuned! Hey, we're back! Let's get into this review of the Northface Recycled Etip Gloves. Here I have one of the women's version and also one of the men's version. So these have been my go-to liner gloves this season. I have two pairs just in case I was to lose a pair, but I've managed to hold on to all of these. I do prefer the older version. It had a separate cuff, which they were stretchier. And I think that's been the gripe about the reviews that I've read, is that they don't have enough stretch. These say that they're four-way stretch, but they actually don't have much stretch in the wrist area. They have all the same features, they're pretty similar. It's just that I have really large hands for a woman, so a lot of the time I do get the men's gloves. In this case, the women's large fits me a lot better than the men's, and I'll show you. They fit me pretty well. I did like the older version that wasn't so gapey in the wrist. I get cold wrists pretty easily. And I have read reviews where people said that the wrist was too tight for them. Even though it's four-way stretch, there's not as much stretch as what there used to be in the old version. I'm not really sure why they changed it. It does have the E-tip on the tips. It's got a grip here. You might have trouble seeing this here, but it's got little dots that are grippy. They do have a nice kind of fleecy liner on the palm, and it's double lined on the top section here. I wear these as liner gloves underneath my ski gloves for extra warmth, and really I probably couldn't go skiing without a liner glove, or I'd have to have hand warmers. These are the men's version, which I bought as well, not thinking that there'd be much difference, but they are a little bit roomier here. I have long fingers and a thin palm, so they're a bit roomier. They have this clip here which keeps them together so you don't lose them, which is always a nice feature in my mind, because I have lost just one glove before, and that's a deal breaker. They've held up pretty well. I probably only get one season out of a liner glove, so these are $45 full retail, and it's kind of pricey for a liner glove, but I don't want anything too thick because then they don't fit under my gloves. I don't want them too thin because then they don't offer enough warmth for me. But that's just my take on it. Northface has a lot of these types of gloves, so you could choose one that works for you. My gripe about gloves in general is that I'm always wearing out the right-hand glove, being right-handed and using it. My suggestion for manufacturers would be to sell an additional right-hand glove, or left if you're left-handed, so you could buy a pair of gloves plus one extra glove, and then you wouldn't have to go ahead and buy a whole new pair when one of the gloves gets a hole in it. The other issue, and I did read some other people had this issue as well, actually the stitching came undone here in the thumb and finger area, and also in another area down here, and I sewed it up myself. I have returned a pair of gloves to Northface before. I know that they stand by their products, so I would have been okay to returning these and they would have given me a new pair. So that does count for something, that the Northface does stand behind their products. So if you have any issues, they will take care of you. That's been my experience anyway. I've made them work. I'm still happy with them. Again, I do prefer the older version. So, when a company changes something that was working great, it kind of like makes you question, why did they change that? But maybe they'll go back to the cuff version in the future. Nonetheless, these are my go-to liner gloves. I've been happy with them. I would recommend them. Yes, I would purchase them again. And I know that Northface stands behind their gear, but maybe I do like my older version just a little bit better. Anyway, stay tuned for next week's episode when we'll be reviewing some extra cool gear. See you then.